So today we are going to discuss about the theories of dispersion. Let us see the contents. The first content for the topic for the discussion is theories of dispersion, adsorption, wetting, crystal growth mechanism, and prevention of crystal growth. How the crystal growth can be prevented, and how to avoid the formation of crystals in the formulation. And the mechanism for the crystal growth, what are the methods are there, available methods for the preparation of the crystal growth, as well as what is the wetting phenomena, how it is done, adsorption phenomena, theories of dispersion and all we can see for today's discussion. Coming to the next slide, there are mainly 4 theories are available for the theories of dispersion. If you see, as per this theory, an increase in viscosity of emulsion will lead to an increase in stability. So what they are saying, the mainly 4 theories available, but the basic principle here is, so as according to this theory, there is increase in the viscosity of emulsion which leads to stability is going to be there is a chances of more risk for the stability of the emulsion. Hence when we are formulating the emulsions, what we need to maintain here, we have to maintain the low viscosity. Viscosity should be in the optimum level, then only the emulsion can be remain stable. Now limitations of the theory. This theory failed to explain about the milk which shows considerable stability even though its viscosity is less. Now film theory or adsorption theory. As per this theory, according to this theory, the added emulsifying agent, whatever the emulsifying agents we are adding here, it forms a mechanical film. So after adding the emulsifying agent, it forms a film, and it by getting adsorbed at the interface of the liquid. It is adsorbing at the interface of the liquid, that is at the interface between the dispersed globules and the dispersion medium. In between these two globules and the medium, the adsorption phase is going to be observed. The interface is going to be observed. So what happened to this interface? It is getting less quality because of the emulsifying agent sometimes. This offers stability to the emulsion, thereby it causes increase the stability of the emulsions. Now coming to the limitations of this film theory or adsorption theory, it could not explain the formation of type of emulsion, means what type of emulsion is going to be formed after adding the emulsifying agent. It has failed, it is not going to explain. This theory has not explained about the formation of what type of emulsion is going to be produced after adding the emulsifying agent and other ingredients. It says that this theory is not recommended for such type of emulsions, means whether it is going to form oil in water emulsion or water in oil emulsion, or what type of emulsion it is going to be formed, it is not clearly mentioned in this film theory or adsorption theory. Further limitation continues. This theory explains stability of emulsion. It is not able to explain about the stability also. So means after adding the agents such as emulsifying agents, whether the stability remains or it is not remains stable, that regarding that information also it is not explained here in this theory. The calcium stearate will not obey this theory. It will ionize and will not exist as a wedge. Means example they are saying here, the calcium stearate, a chemical substance, when we are adding it to in the emulsion, preparation of emulsion, it is not obeying this theory. It is not obeying this theory means there is a no formation of a layer is not going to be formed. It is not acting as a barrier. Hence what happened, either the viscosity of the preparation has been increased or it is decreased. Because of this, what happened, the emulsion will remain, the emulsion is not going to be remain stable. It is not remain stable. Hence what happened, this theory fails to explain about the stability. Next theory we can see here, that is interfacial tension theory. In this theory, initially when the oil and waters are mixed together, normally we can see that the emulsion is nothing but mixing up of the aqueous phase and the oil phase. When they are mixed together, they will become immiscible due to the interfacial tension. They will not mix up with each other. If you want to mix up with each other, we have to add the third substance which is called as emulsifying agent. After adding the emulsifying agent only, the interfacial tension is going to be reduced, thereby the two liquids are going to be miscible with each other. The added emulsifying agent reduces the interfacial tension between the oil phase and the water phase. Thereby what happened, thereby we can observe a stable emulsion is going to be formed. Then we can observe the good stable emulsion can be observed. This has been explained in the interfacial tension theory. The name itself indicating that it is a barrier. This theory is explaining about the membrane or the barrier, which says after reducing the interfacial tension, the oil phase as well as the aqueous phase going to be mingle with each other, mix up with each other. After combining with each other also, this mechanism is not coming back to the original position. Why? Because it is there adding the emulsifying agents. Because of adding the emulsifying agents, they will reduce the tension present between the two phases, that is aqueous phase as well as the oil phase. When the interfacial tension reduces, automatically what happens, the oil phase and aqueous phase will mix up with each other. Hence we can obtain a stable emulsion. Thereby the stability of emulsion can be remain for certain duration of time. Coming to the next theory, it is called as the wedge theory. According to this theory, what is happening here, the monovalent soaps like sodium stearate gives oil in water type of emulsion. Oil is in the dispersed phase, whereas water in the continuous phase. We can observe here when we are using this theory. So according to this theory, what they are saying, that is the monovalent soaps are available. These soaps, such as the sodium stearate soaps, it will give the oil in water type of emulsions, whereas the divalent soaps such as calcium stearate, it will use water in oil type of emulsion. So this was explained by the successful accommodation of the soap molecules at the interface and subsequent possible orientation of the soap molecules to give the type of emulsion. So in this theory, in the wedge theory, we can explain that we have understand that by using the monovalent soaps such as sodium stearate, when we are using the sodium stearate, it produces oil in water type of emulsion, whereas the divalent soap, by using of divalent soap such as calcium stearate, it will produce water in oil type of emulsion. And why it is happening? Because the accommodation of soap molecules at the interface and a subsequent possible orientation is observed for the soap molecules, which gives the type of emulsion. Means the calcium stearate, when it is moving towards the oil phase side, then we are getting the water in oil emulsion, whereas similarly the sodium stearate, when it is moving towards the water type of emulsion, water phase, that is aqueous solubility, we are observing oil in water type of emulsions are observed. How monovalent soap stabilize emulsion? The polar head will be attracted towards the water and non-polar tail will be attracted towards the oil. So polar head means the top portion of the the main portion of the emulsion, of the emulsifying agent. What happened here, the polar head will be attracted towards the water, towards the hydrophilic portion, and a non-polar tail at the bottom portion will be attracted towards the oil phase, that is non-aqueous phase. So when these arrangements are there, allowing water and oil to combine with each other. So when these two phases, when this head and tail portion, because of this head and tail portion, what happened, the oil and water phase will combine with each other. This is how the divalent soaps are oriented to form a water in oil type of emulsion. Monomolecular adsorption and film formation. So here the surfactants absorbed at the oil in water interface and forms a monomolecular film. It forms a monomolecular film, means single molecular film. When it is happening, when the surfactants are absorbed at the oil water interface, they forms a monomolecular film. After forming a monomolecular film, what happened? This film, it will rapidly envelops the droplets. This monomolecular film envelops the droplets as soon as they are formed. Immediately when their monomolecular films are formed, they will envelop the droplet. The droplets means the emulsions can be enveloped. Agent having higher interfacial activity are better suited for this purpose. Interfacial activity means the substances which are having the capability to penetrate inside the membrane. Such type of activities are much preferred for this type of film formation. The monomolecular film should be compact and strong enough so that it cannot be easily broken. It should be very tough and rigid. It should be very hard. If it is broken, it should be elastic and flexible enough. Elastic means again it should come back to the regain. It has to be come back to its original position. If it is, even though if it is broken, so that it can be reformed or rapid agitation. On rapid agitation means while we are going for preparing emulsion, the continuous trituration, at the time what happened, there is a chances of breaking of the film. Even the film has been broken, but it should be very elastic and flexible so that it should come back to its original position. Combination of surfactants are used rather than a single one. So combination of sodium cetyl sulfate and oleal alcohol do not form a closed packed film, and therefore they forms a poor emulsion. Then what is the next option? Cetyl alcohol and sodium oleate produce a closed packed film, but complexation is negligible and hence produces a poor emulsion. Even though we are using the surfactants, sometimes what happen, even though we are using the surfactants, combination of some substances, it will not produce a closed packed film. Thereby what happened, it produces a poor emulsion. Overall, if you want to make the stable emulsion, the intention of the intention of the surfactants, what we are using here, it should be in such a way that it should form a thin hard packed film. If it is not producing hard packed film, what happen, it will become rupture or it will become break, so that thereby what happened, the emulsion, there is a chances of a breaking of emulsion or instability of emulsion can be observed here. Multimolecular adsorption, the emulsifying agents such as acacia and gelatin, that is the natural polymer such as acacia and gelatin, it forms a multimolecular film around the globules and prevent the instantly, mainly coalescence. They are effective at high concentration and promote the formation of oil in water type emulsion, leads to their hydrophobicity. Finally, it causes hydrophobicity of the emulsion. Means what here, multimolecular adsorption, what they are saying, in the multimolecular emulsifying, the emulsifying agents such acacia and gelatin, which forms a multimolecular film around the emulsion molecule or globule molecule. It prevents the instability, prevents the stability of the, it maintains the stability mainly by coalescence. They are effective in high concentration and promote the formation of oil in water type of emulsion, leads to hydrophobicity. Means when you are using acacia or the gelatin, they both are working together, but when it is going to be working at high concentration, not at a low concentration, and the concentration should be maintained to obtain the formation of oil in water emulsion. And solid particle adsorption. So how these solid particles are absorbed, let us see now. The finally divided solid particles will adsorb at the oil water interface and forms a rigid film of closely packed solids. This film acts as a mechanical barrier and prevent the coalescence of the globules. Means mixing up of globules with each other, it can be prevented by using oil water interface, which forms a rigid film. It tends to produce porous emulsion depending upon the affinity of the emulsify to a particular phase. One can prepare both type of emulsion, that is by using bentonite oil in water and Wallin water, Begum oil in water. Emulsions can be prepared just by solid particle adsorption. Just by maintaining the rigid film, we can prepare this type of emulsion. Adsorption theory. The adsorption theory states that addition results from molecular contact between two materials and the surface forces that develops. A bond develops from the adsorption of adhesive molecules on the substrate, and the resulting attractive forces, usually designated as secondary or van der Waals forces. For these forces of to develop, the respective surface must be separated more than several angstrom in distance. Therefore, what happens? The adhesive must make intimate molecular contact with the substrate surface. So this is what we are explaining here in the adsorption theory. What this says, let us see once again. The adsorption theory states that addition results from molecular contact between two material. Means what they are saying, there is a formation of the emulsions can be observed by adsorption of two states. Means here the monophasic phase, that is the aqueous phase, as well as the hydrophilic phase and hydrophobic phase. At the addition results can causes molecular contact between these two material, and thereby and surface forces that develops in between these two phases. Thereby what happen, a bond has been developed from the addition of adhesive molecules. When the bonds is going to be developed, when by adding the addition of extra substances, the third material or any additional materials when we are adding, thereby what happen, there is a strong adsorption forces are created in between these two phases. Thereby then what happen, substrate and the resulting attractive forces, usually designated as secondary or van der Waals forces. Such type of forces which are formed in between the two phases by addition of other molecules, they are called as van der Waals forces or secondary forces. So for these forces to develop, The respective surface must not be separated. For to develop these forces, the surface should not be developed, it should be combined with each other more than several angstrom in distance. Therefore, the adhesive must intimate molecular contact with the substrate surface. So finally, what we are understand from this theory, we have understand from this theory that the adhesive must make intimate, means what here, whatever the additional substances we are adding here, it should form a tight bonding with the van der Waals forces, molecular contact with the substrate forces along with the substrate force, means the initial forces what we have added, it should be properly combined with the additional substances. Next, wetting. Wetting can be determined by an angle, a drop of water, so that is a water drop, which is a, we can see at an angle, particular angle is formed when the water is falling, or adhesives make when placed on a substrate. Complete spontaneous wetting means immediate wetting occurs when the contact angle is zero. Contact angle is zero means what here, when the water droplet is falling from the surface, from the one portion to other portion, when it strike to the surface of the substance, at that time what happens, the contact angle will become zero, or when the contact angle is zero, at the time only the wetting will occur. The material spreads uniformly over the substrate to form a thin coating. What happen here, when the material is come in contact with the wetting surface, it will spread uniformly over a substrate to form, it forms a thin coating, and when we observe the surface, that area, it forms a thin coating can be observed. Wetting is favored when the substrate fills irregularity, surface energy is high. When the surface energy is high, then the wetting is very much favored. When it is very much favored, when the surface energy is very high and the surface tension of the wetting liquid is low. Surface tension of the liquid is low, whereas the surface energy is high and the surface tension of the wetting material is very low. At that time we can observe where more wetting has been observed. Low energy adhesive polymers therefore easily wet high energy substrates such as metals or glasses. Conversely, polymeric fibers and other polymeric substances such as fluorocarbons and polyolefins have low surface energy. So we have observed here, when we are observing low surface energy means, and these conditions are having less surface energy and will not be readily and will not be immediately wet by water or conventional adhesives unless they have a lower surface energy. So overall in the wetting, what we have understand the 2 points, that wetting can be achieved very effectively when it is having the high surface energy as well as low surface tension. It is having low surface tension, at the time only we can observe the wetting can be done very properly. So in this an illustration of good and poor wetting by an adhesive spreading over a surface can be observed. That is a tapped air we can observe. When the droplet is has formed, we can observe, this is the circle image we are observing on the image. A circular shape has been absorbed, that is substrate, which is at the bottom of the line, that is substrate, and poor wetting, this is called as a poor wetting. This shape should not form, umbrella shape should not form, and a bell shape should not form, and umbrella shape should be observed. Bell shape if you are observing, then you can say the air has been trapped to the molecule. When the air has been trapped to the molecule, we cannot observe proper wetting. So then what we have to do here, we have to maintain the proper surface energy as well as the interfacial surface tension should be very low. Then only what happen, adhesively collectively film irregularities can be observed, thereby adhesive of the substance can be observed properly in the substrate, thereby we can say it is a good wetting. The crystal growth, so is the process of phase transition from a gas or a liquid to a solid. The mechanism of growth depends on the initial phase, the state of the surface and the strength of the driving force. Basic growth mechanism of crystal growth are explained in terms of physical concepts. How it is, what is the mechanism? Let us see now. The interface between a crystal and its vapor can be molecularly sharp at temperatures well below the melting point. So mechanism, how it is, the crystal growths are formed. The interface between a crystal and its vapor can be molecularly, it is very sharp at a temperature below the melting point. So at below the melting point, the crystal growth can be observed very properly. An ideal crystalline surface grows by the spreading of single layer. A single layer, ideal normal crystals, how they are growing, with the help of a single layer, or equivalently by the lateral advance of the growth steps bounding the layers. For perceptible growth rates, this mechanism requires a finite driving force. A uniform driving force is required to form crystals. In order to lower the nucleation barrier sufficiently for nucleation to occur by means of thermal fluctuation, means temperature is very much required to maintain here to form a uniform crystal growth. Next, in the theory of crystal growth from the metal, Burton and Cabria have distinguished between two major mechanisms. How to prevent the crystal growth, whether the growth is important or how we have to prevent. It is also known as Ostwald ripening is simply the change in the particle size distribution. When this crystal growth is observed, when there is a change, size of the distribution is very altered, at the time we are observing the crystal growth has been occurred. Distribution in pharmaceutical suspensions, it is a process whereby small particles in suspension seems to disappear and larger particles grow after repeated temperature change in both directions during storage. This crystal growth is observed only in such conditions. What conditions we can observing during the temperature changes or fluctuation in the temperature? When there is a changes in the temperature, at the time the small particles is observed in the suspension. If it is small particle, then it will go for disappear. Then if it is a large molecules or large particles has been grown, that particles will remain stable. They will not go for disappear. Even after storage condition, they will remain same as it is. Since suspensions are saturated solutions of particulate substance, small changes in temperature that occurs during shelf storage may change particle size, distribution and polymeric form of a drug, particularly if the solubility of the drug is temperature dependent. Therefore, as the temperature is increased, the small particle of the drug will dissolve, which is followed by crystal growth as the temperature is decreased. Overall, if you want to prevent the crystal growth, it totally depends upon the temperature. As the temperature of the preparation increases at high temperature, these crystal growth, if they are in smaller size, they will disappear. If they are in larger size, they cannot disappear, they will remain as it is. Means when we are preparing the formula, at the time we have to take care that the particle size should be reduced at a very low rate. The basics of the Ostwald ripening is found in an equation and it applies to the equilibrium solubility of small particles. In S oblique SO is equal to 2V y bar R small r capital R T, whereas S naught S0 is the solubility of infinitely large particles. In large particles, S is the solubility of the small particles of radius R and gamma the surface tension, and V is the molar volume of the solid. Crystal growth is pharmaceutical suspension may cause a drastic changes in the particle size distribution that may affect the physical stability and bioavailability of the suspension. Crystal growth and changes in particle distribution can be largely controlled by using one or more of the following procedures. First of all, you have to select the narrow range of the particle size, which is as I told, the particle size should be maintained very low. It is less than 1 or not more than 10 microns we have to adjust. Then you have to select the selecting the highest melting point crystalline form of the drug, means the melting point of the drug should be very high so that the crystallization cannot be then we cannot observe the formation of a crystal growth. Using controlled precipitation techniques rather than higher energy milling to reduce the particle size, we have to use the instead of using the precipitation method, we have to go for milling methods. Then what happen, the particle size can be reduced. Once the particle size is reduced, there is no chances of development of a crystals observed in the suspension. Using water dispersible surfactants, wetting agents to overcome free surface energy which will affect. What we have to use here, water dispersible surfactants, means water miscible surfactants can be used, so that the wetting agents are also used to overcome the free surface energy, whereby what happens, reduce the surface tension so that the crystals cannot be observed. Using a protective colloid such as gelatin, gum, cellulose and derivatives, which forms a barrier around the particle. Once the barrier is formed, the crystals cannot. Increase in the intrinsic viscosity of the suspending vehicle is one of the methods to avoid the formation of crystals. Avoiding temperature extremes during proceedings and storage. Avoiding conditions of supersaturation of insoluble drug particles. Slowing crystallization technique, means the process has to be taken very carefully and slowly. We have to do instead of using shock cooling or flash evaporation method. Next, avoiding impurities, foreign substances or exotic recrystallizing solvents, establishing reproducible crystallizing condition in order to reduce consistent material. So hope you have understand from this class that the theories of crystallization in this class we have understand about the interesting topic regarding the crystallization method and prevention, and what are the methods we have to use for the process of crystallization, and what the things we should not do for the prevention of the crystal growth formation. If you want to reduce the crystal growth overall, we have understood in this class that we have to reduce the particle size, we have to reduce the particle size, we have to maintain the surface energy, as well as we can reduce the surface tension. When we are following all these conditions, definitely there is no chances of growth of the crystals. As we are repeatedly saying that this informative is just an idea and overview for the budding pharmacist and not for the experts. So by this class they have to take the idea, they have to take in information, they have to enlarge their class, extend the classes by referring the various sources of the internet as well as the textbooks. They have to follow journals, so that they can increase the knowledge about the subject as well as the topic what we are mentioning here. It is not the final thing, but they have to take that idea. From that idea they have to go for extend the subject, so that they can prepare the final notes and they can prepare there. It is an informative purpose, not for the final preparation of your exams. You can consider it as just an idea for your subject. So hope you understand. For updated videos, please like, share and subscribe for the updated videos. Whatever we are updating these newly videos, it will directly come, you can observe in your notification inbox, so that you can update the knowledge by our valuable information provided here. Thank you and all.